Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Lewis. Welcome to the ReEvolve Media Revolution podcast, where we interview underground hip hop artists from across Canada and learn their story and how an inclination for hip hop is intertwined. This episode features Providence the Poet. Now, I fully believe, and without a doubt, because this message has come to me in many forms, that if you simply sit there and do nothing, quiet your mind and wait, you'll know exactly what to do next. It might not happen immediately, it might not happen for a while, and even when it does happen, it may seem as though nothing has changed, but you'll know what to do. We have a natural inclination that we overcrowd with constant thought. Circumstances in our lives can easily drive our brains into a reoccurring state of fight or flight, in which case we are often caught making decisions for which the drama does not accurately reflect the situation. So sit, quiet your mind. A common practice is to follow your breath and breathe deeply. You can do that while listening. You will know what to do next, no matter the situation. As I mentioned before, this message has come to me in various forms, and I'm sure many people out there feel the same way. I sometimes forget the meaning and enjoy having a refresher often, finding that it comes when I need it the most. It's a crazy world out there, a lot of different things to stress about. The stress can be overwhelming, the days can be tough, and shit can really get to you. But it's important to keep your wits about. Keep moving. I thought I've had some lows, and then I hear the story of other people's low points, and then I hear that those people have heard even worse stories, and it just goes to show it's a crazy world. The artist interviewed in this episode is named Providence the Poet. He's an artist that creates as naturally as he breathes. Throughout his life, music has been a focus, but not really as a pursuit, more as of a habit. Through his various ups and downs in life, his mind would naturally move towards his favorite form of expression, and through him we can see the importance of yielding to that expression. What's up, everyone? I'm here with Providence. He's out of Toronto, Ontario. How you doing, Provi?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. How are you?
This is good to hear. I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. So I've got to hear that you're originally from Montreal, Quebec.
Yeah, that's where I grew up in Canada. When I first got to Canada, I was in Toronto. Then I did a couple of years in Edmonton as a kid, and then after that I spent like 10, 11 years in Montreal, and then I moved back
Oh,
to Ontario.
gotcha.
But
So you weren't born there, though. Where were you born?
I was born in Belgium.
In Belgium.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. What got your family to move over here?
Back at the time, I was living obviously I was with my family at the time, and then we moved because my dad was like chasing studies, like just studying at different universities and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's why you guys moved to Montreal?
Yeah, that's why I moved to Canada, like better life, better.
Oh, moved to Canada in general. Yeah. So how long have you been in Toronto for this most recent?
I've only been in Toronto for a month. I've kind of been all over the place.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was just before that I was in Hamilton for like a couple months. And then before that I was kind of like wandering the streets of London for like a month or like a few.
Yeah. What's inspiring all this movement?
Life. It's not really like, to be honest. You have certain goals that you put in your head as a mantra. Like that's just kind of the way I live. Like I literally listen to affirmations and read and just kind of watch videos and just like obsessively focus on certain things. And so life kind of brings you around those environments by default, whether you realize it or not. And I just end up like in different cities all the time. Why, I can't really give you like a 3D concrete answer, but that's kind of why.
That's totally fair, man. That's really interesting. So these opportunities kind of come your way, and you just go for them, or do you kind of you see them where they are and you go to them?
To be real, I just kind of get into a flow of life, and then shit just kind of pops up that I didn't know would pop up, And then like I have certain goals, and then those things happen to fit for those goals, and like I'm like, all right, well, this is kind of like a next step. it's like that whole saying, like the teacher or the master appears when the student is ready. It's kind of like the next part of your journey appears when you've actually completed the one that you're on.
Interesting. And so your journey thus far has led you to Toronto.
Yeah, I'm in Toronto right now. It's kind of lit.
What's the main reason or purpose do you think that you're there?
Yo, it's like a double answer thing. Like music is. I'm a financial advisor and I do music.
Okay.
So like I find being in a bigger city and being in one of the biggest cities like Toronto is it's so much easier to find bigger groups of people to connect with and share your services with. So the main reason there is to, like, grow faster in a lot of different ways, and as a person to just kind of get back to a city where like people are hustling, like everyone's hustling.
For sure, especially in the hip hop scene.
Yeah, especially in the hip hop scene.
So, just in that relation to what we're talking about, what got you to go to Hamilton, and what was your like finality there?
I spent a lot of time in Hamilton after I left Montreal when I was a kid. I actually graduated from high school in Hamilton.
Oh, okay, so you got ties there.
Yeah, lots of ties. And yeah, so I came back, I checked some people. I was actually in Hamilton because my girlfriend was in Hamilton. And then we just, yeah, yeah. But
I see. It was just for the connections.
not really, though. I don't know how to explain. Like, family's here. The
Oh,
person I do
gotcha.
music with is here, like my business partner.
Yeah.
He was like here like there in Hamilton, and I just spent a lot of time here. I developed a lot as an artist here. Most of my friends in Ontario are from Hamilton. I rep Hamilton when I'm in Ontario. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's
Word,
my
word.
second home.
I think it's interesting that you're also a financial advisor. So would you say you're like 50-50 artist financial advisor, or like what led you into that role?
Yo, to be honest, like being an artist is not like a to me it's like a way of life, you know. I create
Okay.
music all the time. Whenever I feel inspired to, or I gotta let something out. So it's just kind of like I'm a financial advisor because I like money and I like what money can do for people and like teaching people about what it can do for you. It turned into a big passion of mine once I saw what it did to my thoughts and like my dreams, you know, knowing how the industry really works. But
For
then being an
sure.
artist is just like me. Like, I've always rapped, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't, like, I'll always want to learn more about how money works as I get older, and I'll always make music. It's kind of how I
For
look at it.
sure. That's dope, man. So I see you've been making or at least releasing music since about 2014. I've got your first track pegged as Bus Ride Memos 1 from on your SoundCloud from 2014.
Jeez, yeah, you did research? That's crazy.
We went back a little bit, yeah, for sure. But honestly, man, it honestly seems like you'd been writing for a while before then, because this was like your Bus Ride Memos. Your first track that you're releasing here was pretty well written, and you're kind of just establishing who Providence is, and you're all about being real, and you want to change the world. So what inspired you to kind of fully get out there and finally release a track here?
Bus ride memos.
Yeah,
Let me
I'm
think.
thinking that's your first public release.
Yeah, I
That's
think.
what I'm seeing.
Yeah, honestly, like, well, that's a long time ago. I was
Yeah, dude,
living
2014.
Yeah, I was living in Hamilton, and I was working with a collective that I started with a couple of friends at the time called LHR Music, and it was one of those things where I've been writing constantly growing up, and I was also a pretty serious athlete. But then after I got injured, I just kind of like got heartbroken about sports that I couldn't play and stuff, so I got really deep into the writing, and then I kept bouncing from city to city. And once I got to Hamilton from Sudbury, me and my boy Sean, we went looking for studios in a blizzard. But
Damn.
we're like, fuck it, we gotta go find one, like, get this thing started. Uh, and just busing, like, I don't know, it's crazy. Because a little, like, diversion. I was, like, living in a Ancaster, like, it's a bit outside of Hamilton.
All
And
right.
to get into Hamilton is a mission on Sundays because, like, it's the outskirts. So we busted into the city. We're like walking around downtown Hamilton in blizzard, and we get to the studio and it's so warm and like it was a cool vibe. Record the track, and yeah, that was the first one. But what prompted it? I just always wanted to be great, so like that's what prompted it.
Okay, so you knew it was gonna happen. There wasn't actually some like big moment where you're like, all right, I'm gonna start releasing music now. It's just kind of like natural progression.
Yeah, that's kind of like how I remember it, unless I don't remember because I smoke too much. But
That's fair, homie. Plus, it's a real long time ago. But let's kind of build off that. You got a lot of you got a couple of features that you worked with around that time, notably like A Millie. I see that name popping up quite a bit. Who's that to you?
oh shit. Yo, at the time, he was someone I met in high school.
Yeah,
He was one of the artists that I was in that collective with, and
you're in a collective.
that well, the first one that I was in back in the day, LHR Music.
Okay,
Yeah, he we started off making music together. We did a lot of work together. Turned into being like a really good friend at the time. And like who is that to me? I don't really speak to him too much these days. Life kind of got a bit crazy, and I have a lot of like history with like I don't know what to call it. I don't like the term, but like just mental health, I guess you would say, for lack of better words.
okay,
So like my shit got crazy, and so a lot of people kind of just stopped talking to, and yeah, just later on, like I don't you don't realize what's being said about you when you stop talking to like everybody.
for sure.
So then like I didn't realize like what was being said about me, and apparently like I just moved like quick, and some people thought that like I was not like I don't know I was like doing things to move quick. So I don't know what that means, but so he like reached out with some like interesting comments. So I just kind of like
Ah, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
So you were kind of like hustling on your own, and people were just talking shit behind your back or something like that.
Not on my own, because I like I got connected with like my real good friends, like family,
Okay,
people that like you connect with, and you know that like you come from the same poverty struggle, like dysfunctional household struggle, like people that
for
understand
sure.
and that have it just as rough, or like if not worse, and like know how to relate to your extreme mental states and shit like that. So you like I bonded with them. That's the ODS collective, like people I've known for a lot longer and like a lot shorter, that time means nothing, and you just kind of like what's what by looking in each other's eyes. It's just like it's a real like family, and I just kind of stayed with that smaller circle. Guys like Archaic, Fix, JMT, Ken, DJ, even young guys like Rolly and Hamilton. There's a lot of people, but like it's just like a lot smaller of a group, and so I just disconnected with what was going on in like all the different cities, and apparently like some shit was said, and he got at me with some comments, and like at first I was trying to like understand, but then it's like you don't really have time because there's so much shit going on.
Yeah,
And
fair.
you just kind of disassociate from that relationship, kind of where we're at. But like I don't wish any bad to him or anything, like
No,
he helped me a lot when I was going through shit, and I just wished like the best for him, but not really in the mood to deal with like weird perspectives and shit.
yeah, that's totally fair, man. Was it perspectives relating to mostly music, or was it like personal shit?
I don't know, just like life street shit, I guess.
Ah,
But
fair. All right. So that's kind of like 2014 years. You released a few singles. 2015, kind of same deal. I gotta say, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but you got a style around this era that's like similar to Kanye West.
holy shit, that's great.
I hope you take it as a compliment.
Yeah, Kanye's a guy. Kanye's like like if anybody thinks of hip hop music, the name Kanye comes up. They think of like artistic hip hop music. I don't know how to describe it, but
That's I think you described it well. Artistic hip hop music. It's
all
something
hip
kind of
hop
like
music is artistic, though.
it's like out of the box. It's like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. What we got in 2015. You got Tom's apology letter. I wanted to touch base a little bit on that. Is that kind of like what you're talking about in this? How you kind of sort of had to let people slide away a little bit and then focus on this smaller
Yeah,
group.
honestly, I smoked a lot of weed back then, and I read a lot about like mythology and
And what's that? Sorry.
shit. I read a lot about mythology, so like I was into like relating what was happening in my life with ancient stories of like demigods and like things
Okay.
like that. it helped me like get meaning to life when like I found patterns and stories and shit. But it was honestly an apology letter for me not being around the social circles that I was, because like I started to focus on my mental a bit, and me saying that I've been putting work in, because at the time I left Montreal and I was in Ontario, so I was just letting them know that like I'm still doing this, you know, it's still the same kid, same dream. Yeah.
Word. And one quote that you say in it is that it's not an earthquake, Providence is waking.
Yeah.
Is that kind of stem from the mythological thoughts?
You could say that, but it was just more of like a metaphor. Like, you know, when things start getting shaky and like you don't recognize the game, it's not an earthquake. You know, it's just it's me waking up. You know,
It's just you waking up. It's you becoming what you're trying to become.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But like just what I am. I like to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then in 2016, you released a 7-track project called Dark Adventures.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Want to tell me a bit about that? What you remember? I don't know if this is the first track. I couldn't find out the proper order, but Addicted to Energy Drinks. I gotta ask if this is like related to you're in school during this time as well.
At the time, yeah, I just started university, I think.
There you go. That's why you got addicted to energy drinks.
Exactly. You know, I was not ready.
You and me both, bro. Was it? I gotta ask. Was it Rockstar Punched? The red one?
I remember the flavors, but it was like, you know, at the convenience stores, the corner store. In Montreal, they had a thing called Four Locos. I don't know if you had it like where you're at, but like
it's got the booze in it, right?
Yeah, it was crazy, bro. It was crazy. I would be on the bus, like I'd drink those, you know, then I'd like open up the laptop on the bus, like study. Yeah. But it was more like the regular ones, like the Red Bulls. I should have been sponsored by Red Bull.
Back in these times, or even to this day?
Back in those times, I chilled out a bit.
Yo, that's fair. So what got you into releasing like a 7-track, like a full project instead of just dropping singles?
Because I didn't really understand. Like, I was more about hip hop for like letting out art's sake, not so much for like the market sake. So like,
because you were focused on school, or just kind of that's how it always was?
No, because I always, no matter what I do, I always make music.
Okay.
Always to reflect the state of mind and like to share perspective, and you know, so like it wasn't so much to gain traction as a hip hop artist, like by releasing singles or whatever they tell people to do these days. But so to just like put out art, and I felt like it was better expressed through like a 7-track project, and so I did that. It was crazy because I released that when I was in the psych ward, so like I was.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you wrote that in the psych ward?
No, I like I did it before, and I think like I don't know. I remember releasing it when I was in the psych ward, but it was already like written right before, and like the thoughts on it are a little crazy. I was like in some really quote unquote dark adventures, like doing things that most people would have no idea that I did, and like it makes you go nuts as a kid that's supposed to like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like like just being like a young kid in today's world. It's like you probably shouldn't.
I'm losing you on volume a little bit.
Oh, my bad.
That's all good.
Yeah, they're saying you probably shouldn't be like doing X amount of drugs and like not sleeping for like 4 days and like you know, like doing whatever to like, you know, make money and whatever the heck like we were doing back then.
For sure. So this is kind of like documenting literally your dark adventures.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, and then in your track "Heartless Hero," you kind of stake the claim that you like need to change, and that's kind of like smack dab in the middle of the project. Is that kind of like the theme of the whole project? Is like that desire to change?
Yeah, like sometimes you go so dark that you have to see some other shit. Otherwise, you're just kind of stuck in that darkness, you know. Like
for sure.
Like sometimes, like people, you know, and you know those people when you see them, you look in their eye and you're like, yeah, they're gone. Like something got them, and like you need to see change, and like the only way to see it sometimes is to create it. So it's like that's kind of the stance that I've taken with all that.
That's wild, man. But it's crazy to me that you wrote all this and then you had to release it while you were in the psych ward, you know? So you're still going through this change and transformation.
Yeah.
That you're writing about or releasing the information on.
Yeah. Can't really let shit get in the way of what you're after, you know?
For sure. And I think so. And then later in that same year, you released a 4-track project titled Moth, or MOTH, Merging Onto the Highway. Is that When in the timeline was that?
Oh shit, yeah, that was I forget. Oh my god, I actually forget. I forget.
It was in 2016. I'm assuming it was after Dark Adventures.
Yeah, so at this point, I'm in Hamilton. I got out of the psych, put on an event, and then I was just started making music again, talking about merging onto like the highway, like a better version of life, like going towards the light, like a moth does. I thought it was a cool concept at the time, and
Interesting.
yeah, so did that. Got to collab with a really dope artist from Niagara Falls on that one.
Ends well.
Yeah, he's crazy. Met him at.
I'm losing you on volume again.
Oh my bad.
Bugger, bro.
Yeah, met him at like a barbershop site for that. The big homie Jay Ash from Niagara like invited me to, and then we got on that track. And but that was after being out of the psych ward and just trying to like get back into the swing of things for the first time.
Interesting. Can I ask how long you were in the psych ward for? I don't know if that's personal.
I don't really care. Like people, I feel like one day this interview might help somebody that's in a similar situation grow.
For sure.
Like I don't mind sharing that shit. I was in there the first time for like 3.5 months.
3.5?
Yeah.
First time. Is that the time between these two releases?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, man. Listen, we're gonna take a quick break. We're at the 20-minute mark, so we're just gonna stop the recording right here.
Okay.
And we're gonna listen to Providence's track ODS 12. Enjoy.
Oh my God, my God, my goodness, my God, my goodness, you gotta use your imagination, my God.
What is this? My mind's floating, third eye open, I ain't even tripping. My mind's floating, found my focus.
Found my focus.
Yeah. Hop off the plane, I got jet lag, still I got all of my swagger. I keep my composure when I'm out in public, cause I'm a rock star like Mick Jagger. I'm tipping, I'm sipping on Jaeger. Moonwalking, I'm dodging these craters. These colors keep shifting, I'm faded. Once I'm out the matrix, I made it. Tisk, tisk, tisk. What is this? My mind's floating, third eye open, I ain't even tripping. My mind's floating, found my focus, that's some ancient wisdom. Damn, that's potent, my mind's floating, my mind's floating. Day after day, I stayed up, waiting for answers to come. Waiting for answers to come. Heard it was all about the funds. Money in my wallet, okay. Billionaires be calling, okay. Ay. I heard the homies ballin', okay. I heard I really want it, okay. What is that? Ay. Man, who will hit the kill switch? Every day a quick. Every day the view's lit. Hop off the plane, I got jet lag, still I got all of my swagger. I keep my composure when I'm out in public, cause I'm a rock star like Mick Jagger. I'm tipping, I'm sipping on Jaeger. Moonwalking, I'm dodging these craters. These colors keep shifting, I'm faded. Once I'm out the matrix, I made it. Tisk, tisk, tisk. What is this? My mind's floating, third eye open, I ain't even tripping. My mind's floating, found my focus, that's some ancient wisdom. Damn, that's potent, my mind's floating, my mind's floating.
Broke the box and we built a door. Cracked the code and watched the cookie crumble. Caught the vibe like you just threw it at me. Updated my bag, now I'm in my duffel. Passport with a stamp in it. Stampede on anybody who impede on my damn vision. Like nobody next if my camp isn't. If you disagree, then you bad tripping. Took a seat inside my mind to find that everything connected. It's a lethal weapon when you thinking different from the status quo. What goes up must come down.
Can't give a fuck what he talking about. Money the motive, fuck all that broke shit. We can go fuck for a couple rounds. Just helping to lose a couple pounds. Me and my team have been doing better, yeah. Me and my demons pursuing pleasure, yeah. She wanna do it, I might just let her, yeah. We gonna make this shit last forever, yeah. Speaking through my actions, pinky ring, black tins, bent blood, passion. Who cares? Just let them talk. On the block, connecting dots. They ain't shocked, I've been high. They just mad, we been winning lots. What's the price? What's the cost? Fix.
Hop off the plane, I got jet lag, still I got all of my swagger. I keep my composure when I'm out in public, cause I'm a rock star like Mick Jagger. I'm tipping, I'm sipping on Jaeger. Moonwalking, I'm dodging these craters. These colors keep shifting, I'm faded. Once I'm out the matrix, I made it. Tisk, 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 what is this? My mind's floating, third eye open, I ain't even tripping. My mind's floating, found my focus, that's some ancient wisdom. Damn, that's potent, my mind's floating, my mind's floating.
All right, and I'm back with Providence The Poet. How you doing, Provi?
No, I'm good, bro. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Doing great. So before we took our break, we were talking about your project Moth, and you were kind of referring to it, how Moth goes to the light, how just in general going towards the light. And then also the titles of your tracks are MOTH as well: Mind Wars, Oddball, The Process, and then Highway.
Yeah, you got that. That's cool.
Yeah, no, dude, that's dope. You got a bunch of layers into this project, and there's a lot of emotion built into it as well. And it kind of it obviously is in line with kind of the stuff that you were going through, which we talked about right before going off.
Yeah.
But in some of the tracks, I guess you go along some of the information for which you kind of present the struggles that you have gone through your music.
Yeah.
And you, in a sense, kind of you show kind of the direction. Sorry, I'm kind of referring more to your track Oddballs, but not Crazy. You talk about one of the things you talk about is your mental illness and how you were the man of the house since 5, different things like that. And then the end of the track actually takes a higher note because you ended on how you want to be heard by the deaf and you want to be seen by the blind, and how you want to make that change that's incredibly impactful. And this is all at the end of what I'm assuming is like a really, really crazy year for you.
Yeah, to be honest, hearing that, I'm like, wow, that's I haven't listened to that song in a while, so it's like it's kind of like, whoa, yeah, I remember those bars. And I think it was coming from a place of like rage towards how the system treats immigrant youth.
Okay.
So it was like because especially now that I'm a bit older, I can look back at the way the system works with like mental health things. It's kind of like, I think I was more coming from and was at a place of wanting to be somebody that has had a lot of crazy shit thrown at them and different hurdles, but no matter what was being thrown in front of me, I still kind of like sidestep it. So and at the time, I was a little bit not aware of, how much people go through. Anyways, I thought my story was one of the craziest things I ever heard. It still kind of is, but you realize that everyone's struggles are like just as crazy. So I was like, you know what, like, okay, if I survive this, I'm going to be seen by the blind, heard by the deaf. Yeah.
I see what you're saying, that the struggles are crazy enough to warrant that sort of recognition.
Yeah, it always feels that way. Like, you're like, you're smoking like your 5th like roach doobie of the day, like no food on like day 3, you know what I mean? Like try not to go crazy. It's like, and then you got to figure out rent, and then you're like, fuck, I don't want to go back in the streets because like you're not even from that lifestyle, like you respect the dangers of it, but then you're like, damn, like I need the money, and you start
For sure.
So much shit.
For sure, man. And then at the end of that, the project for the Highway track, with your feature with Enswell, you talk a little bit about how you came from a place where people believe in God, and that how somewhere along the line you got lost.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like showing a desire to go back to it?
No. I was just kind of describing the perspective that a lot of churchgoers have when they try to
when they try to save you.
Yeah. I don't mean to laugh, but yeah.
No, it's cool, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Because I see what you're saying, and I'm just trying to get your perspective a little bit more out of the track, because I feel like we're on the same mentality here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to have faith, and I do believe that the spiritual governs the 3D. I think it's kind of like obvious to a certain eye. Jesus was probably that dude, but I just don't really want to associate with that.
That's fair, man.
With all due respect.
That's fair. I think it's more of a like listen to the track and you'll get more of the details, because you do write from a very artistic perspective as well. So it's not fair to really pick apart specific lines.
Yeah, the whole thing's kind of like a thing where like Highway was like it was just like me and Enswell kind of showing the world what like like real hip hop and like
It's like a new religion kind of.
yeah, like higher vibe hip hop. So we just showcased our perspectives on life at the time.
For sure.
Right.
Word. Okay, well that's kind of 2016 that we've gone through there.
Yeah.
And then 2017, it seems like you took a bit of a break, and I'm going to assume you're focusing a bit more on a school here, as well as building up the roster, or maybe you were going through something a little bit more in terms of your previous releases.
2017, I was in the psych ward again, and then
Shit, how long this time?
that one was 2 different psych wards, 3 months in total, 4 months in total.
Okay.
Crazy, yeah, it was a crazy time. I was in one psych ward in Montreal, broke out of it, and then did a great escape to like Ontario.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I'm laughing, but it's a little stupid. But
is that like a whole movie in itself? Or?
Yeah, bro, it's just nuts.
Bro, I could only imagine. All right. So
Yeah.
after 4 months, you break out.
And then I broke out after a month of the Montreal one, and then I was in the Oakville, Ontario one for like months, and then after I got out, I was homeless for a bit, and
Jesus.
I was chilling though, because I wasn't like on the streets homeless at that time. I was just for like a couple of days, but I got into a shelter pretty quick, so it wasn't that bad. And then, like I was working out of the shelter too, so it was like I was always somewhere, and then I was like freestyling on the street if I wasn't. So it was chill, like it wasn't that bad.
Oh, you were like busking?
No, just like on my own in like a corner in the alleyway, just like trying to get better.
Oh, I see. Like, just working. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it was cool. Like it wasn't cool, but it was cool.
As an experience.
Yeah, and it was sick. Like after a month, on my birthday, I found a place to live.
No way.
Out in like Burlington, so then I moved there. And then one of the counselors I was seeing at the time, he convinced me to do school because he's like, yo, like just try it, So I was like, fuck it. So I did Metalworks, and then I was focused on school most of 2017. But I was
what's Metalworks school for?
Oh, it's like the sickest entertainment school in Canada, I think.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty lit. Great. I met like a bunch of dope people that I consider almost family today. Pretty much family. So it's like
crazy. When did you start going there?
2017.
2017.
Yeah. Like
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So then in 2018, you released a 3-part thing called "Where Were You, Provi?" And it's kind of in relation to. It seems like it's a throwback to 2016, those dark times, your dark adventures, your moth, and then that period between where you're actually like, I guess, going to school now and learning about music, and so now you're able to say those things that you would have wanted to say in a more artistic way. Is that kind of
no correct? music? The school just like my lyricism does not come. That was like an engineering program, like learning the technicalities of sound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the writing is like that's on my own. Like me and my boy Fix, we really put the time into like our craft, and like I've been around like crazy writers like Kim, and we're being in the studio with JMT a lot. Like those guys like really like pushed me as an artist to get to where I am. And then like freestyling with a bunch of my homies, like that's what got the writing, and that never stopped. But yeah,
that's dope, man. Well, I do want to bring it to that the "Where Were You, Provi?" there, your 3-part piece there. What inspired that? Well, I could think it's pretty obvious what inspired it, but what got you to? Because you released these on Spotify as well. What got you to release these the way that you did? Because they're kind of like spoken word, really, really artistic pieces.
Honestly, I thought that it'd be kind of cool. I was in a group home at the time, and I was just like trying to explain my frustrations as to like what was going on in my head, and like that's pretty much like what I remember. And I showed them to my boy Kenji in school, and he was like, yo, these are crazy. So I was like, all right, cool, like I'll post them, someone thinks they're cool. And then I posted them.
That's dope, man. In the 3rd part, you mention you talk about the third eye and brush along the lines of like some sort of like awakening and stuff like that. Is that brought on by something specific, or is that kind of just, where did that come from?
Probably came from my third eye being awakened. I'm just joking. I don't remember, to be real, like what specifically brought those lyrics, but I definitely feel like I move with a like clairvoyant type of perception about things. So that's how that came about.
Interesting. It seems like that it was more like of a recent trend for that 2018 timeline than it was before, though, and that it was part of the awakening. And then in 2019, you released Black Afterglow, which seems to be kind of that like finality of the awakening, or I don't know if finality is the right word, but just kind of like the true forthcoming of it.
Yeah, Black Afterglow. You could say those were kind of like a build up for Black Afterglow. Black Afterglow. I was in the same space when I wrote those, and I was
You're in the same group home?
Yeah. But I was recording them at my friend and like one of my favorite producers to work with, Chris Martins in Oakville. I was recording them in his basement and in my room in the group home, like back and forth. And that was, yeah, you could say like Black Afterglow is like the end of that, you know, like kind of being like trying to understand what the hell was going on in my head kind of state.
For sure, that's crazy. And it's a 4-track project. And to me, it seems like it is a little bit of a throwback to your Tom's Apology, where you're saying the earthquake is you awakening, and now this is you kind of like finally awakened and like feeling infinite.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. And so you said that the art and the music is always just kind of, it's always in process and it's always just flowing from you. Do you find it to be kind of like one of the main elements of your life, or like where do you want to see it go? Or do you want to even see it go anywhere? Is it?
Yeah. Do I want to see it go anywhere? This might sound weird. I don't know how many people think like this, but I feel like it. That's not even like it is going somewhere. You know, like it's just like kind of is going somewhere. It's kind of just been the way I would express myself, but now it's like it helps me because of my mental. I don't even want to call it that. Let's say like spiritual episodes. Like I always lose track about what happened in life. Like memory blanks. So like it's kind of like a time capsule. Like you listen and it's like
interesting.
That's what I use it for the most, and like people relate to it, so it's pretty cool.
That's interesting, man. That's really crazy.
Yeah.
So and in the final track of your Black Afterglow thing, Silent Hill, you mentioned that you're not afraid to die. Is that kind of like a new thought there as well, or?
Is that a new thought there? I guess it's like you get to a state of mind and you don't fear. I don't know if that's 100% honest to say it like that. Like, don't fear death, because I think like there's always something about the unknown that is genuinely like misunderstood. But like it's one of those where like, you know, I felt like shit, if I go, I go, and that didn't come from like a bravery standpoint. It came from like a fuck this shit standpoint. I'm ready for what's outside of like this reality.
Gotcha, interesting. And so, how does that play very well into your most recent releases? Because you do have quite a few from 2020 as well. Your most recent being from August 17th, Money Talks, which is featuring your boy Fix as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a staple thought in my mind as I live, but now it's more so from like the spin of I faced a lot of things, so I'm not really afraid to face things that might kill me.
For sure.
As like like do what you got to do to get to where you want to be type of state of mind, not put yourself in those situations on purpose for like that state of mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So in the transformation of kind of who Providence is and is going to be, do you think like Black Afterglow was the finality, and that now in 2020 this music that you've put out is kind of like your solid identity?
No, because identity is fluid. Nah. It's not.
I think I know what you mean. It's because it's been fluid up until kind of this point.
Yeah, I mean like you're always growing as a person.
For sure.
I don't even know how you'd word that, but you're always growing as a person. So like I was just at that state of being at that time, you know. Now I've gone through more things, overcome more things, learned more things, had more experiences. So I have a certain outlook on life, but the one thing that remains constant is the goals. But as you get older and more experienced, you start to understand like what you have to be to obtain those goals, and like you do remain yourself, but there's a certain level of awareness that, you know, comes with a lot of the goals that I have in the new songs. That's just what's changing, is you understand that I have more awareness of like what my words mean by like how I say it, I guess, or like what I say.
Does that mean you're kind of sliding towards a more mainstream appeal as well?
No, but it just kind of happens sometimes on some tracks, I guess.
Fair.
Because like
Okay.
I hear that music a lot.
Interesting. That's fair. I was gonna say, well, it's not fair to say more mainstream now because I did refer to some of your old music as like Kanye West style, which was mainstream back during those times.
Yeah.
But for 2020, more like Money Talks and Your Past Time, they have kind of more of like they have more production value to them, let's say.
Yeah, those are giants. Those are giants.
Yeah. So what are you creating like these days in regards to those? Are you kind of making more tracks like those, or kicking back to the more like lyrical standing out stuff?
So now it's like putting them both together. So I'm working on a project right now called Escaping Another Dark Adventure, which I feel like will come at the time where I finally just overcome it all and I'm completely which I am, but like, like momentum balls are like shifting and building, floating out of different lifestyles. So it's just kind of like when I'm in place in a lifestyle that I'm really trying to create for myself, that's when that project will be completed. It kind of has a funny way of working out that way, but
Interesting.
Escaping Another Dark Adventure is kind of like speaking about my experiences with the streets and with mental health and with putting it all together and talking about what I've lived through as a young adult with these things. It's kind of like all of that put together, and then ironically the beats are a lot more trappier, heavier.
Ironically, yeah.
The verses are a lot more like cleaner, tighter, lyrical, but they're kind of like people could vibe to it too at the same time. It's definitely my best work because I'm writing again. Most of the stuff I've released in 2020 was like a freestyle, and it's like that's kind of like what I'm working on.
That's crazy, man. So Escape from Another Dark Adventure, that could be kind of the reason that you're in Toronto then, hey?
Oh yeah, you could say that. Yeah, that's definitely why.
And that's funny. So maybe at the end of that, and the reasons that you released this project could be maybe not your escape from Toronto as well.
Who knows? I wouldn't like escape is a weird word. But like it makes sense when you hear the music. I don't know. Who knows for sure. That's crazy, man. So we're at our 20-minute mark here. Is there anything that you would want to say to kind of sign off, or anything kind of that we might have missed that you'd want to like point out to whoever's listening? I guess like if I ever get an opportunity to reach someone that I might not have, I always want to let them know that whatever it is you're going through, it's so corny. It might sound so corny, but it's the real.
Do it, man.
Because like sometimes you hear those messages when you're like at your lowest points, and you're like, whoa. So this is one of those. Just stay strong. It's not gonna end you unless you end yourself first mentally. Like stay strong, stay focused. Shit's bad sometimes, but like you experience the lows, you get to experience the crazy highs, and stay strong. Love yourself first, because no one's gonna love you before you love yourself, and hug your family members. Yeah.
That's perfect, man. All right, that's Providence the Poet, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Have a great day.
All right, you as well, brother. Take care.
Peace.
All right, everybody, that was Providence the Poet. I hope you enjoyed that interview. If you'd like to learn some more about him, go on down to www.reevolvemedia.com/Providence the Poet. And up next, we are going to listen to his track titled Proverbs. Enjoy and take care.
Bible verses in my DMs, oh my God. They think I'm lost, or they forgot, or they forgot, or they forgot, or they forgot. Shit, yeah, someone called a cop. Let them know that I am back. Yeah, I said don't forget your past. Let them know that I am ready to attack. Shit, step away from all the fable. Can't you see your mind's unstable? Yeah, got Pegasus inside my stable. Yeah, I need to see that every table. Oh, Me, I'm hungry. Need me some lunch money. Check the team, we coming. Oh, yeah. Tryna be the change. Tired of all the pain. Gonna need this change. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Bible verses in my DMs, oh my God. They think I'm lost. All the battles that I won, oh, they forgot. How could you forget what I've done? Forget what I've done for you. It was never enough. It was never enough for you. All I wanted was love. All I wanted was love from you. My heart torn as far. We sing a beat with you.